Hello there, Scorpio. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast for the week of May 13th through the 19th. I have already cleared the deck for the spread, and I'm just putting the final shuffle on right now. What you need to know is this is a general reading, so not everything I see here will apply to every single Scorpio that watches this video. You may want to check your rising sign and your moon sign for more information. Also, if you would like to have a private reading where I'm looking distinctly at your own personal energies instead of groups of people's energies, feel free to contact me for that. You can find all my contact information on my website. The web address is www.amista.info. Let's see what kind of cards we have for this week, Scorpios, fellow Scorpios. Alrighty, so for the 13th through the 19th, the first thing that I'm looking at talks to me about our environment during this time frame. An environment is any place where we have energy or effort invested. Usually it shows up as home, but it can show up as work, school, etc., etc. And what I'm seeing about our environment is there is a fresh appreciation for things going on in the environment or for the environment itself. So it may be that, if we're really into flowers, certain flowers are blooming or certain trees are blooming, and we're finding a fresh appreciation for where we are. It could be that something is going on that has just made us feel grateful to be in the blessed positions that we're in. Or it could be that, maybe our environment has got a facelift, but we are really appreciating the environment that we're in. Now, the other way this can play out is that there can be a new appreciation of something in the environment just as easily. So either new appreciation for the environment itself or for something or someone in our environments. Next thing we have coming up is subconscious leanings. And looks to me like what we really are thinking about in our subconscious is our friends, our support network, those types of things. Like we're just really working on subconsciously. I think we're processing. I think that we are coming through a time, Scorpios, where our support networks are growing and are expanding. And I think our subconscious is sort of chewing through all of this and working through all of this. How did this happen and why is this working so well? As Scorpios, we're typically known to have a small circle of inner friends. And so even we don't really like superficial things. And so we don't have a lot of superficial friends. We just have that inner circle, and that's pretty much it. So there's something going on with groups of friends or support network for us where that's broadening or expanding more than what it usually does. And our subconscious is working on, do I like this? How is this happening? Is this really going to last? All those types of questions. Okay, so next thing I'm looking at for us Scorpios is learning style and also communication style. So learning style, intuition is going to play a big part in our learning style this week for the theme. I think we're going to be paying a lot of attention to how people are thinking around us, what they're thinking, why they're doing the things that they're doing, what is making them tick. That's going to be where we're really focusing our energy about picking up new information or learning something new or doing research. Now, as far as communication style, Scorpios, I feel like we're going to be a little bit on defense with our communication style. I don't see us actually stepping up and trying to stir anything up or trying to offend somebody, but I do think that there is somebody around us that is somewhat offensive or insulting, and we are defending ourselves from that. Now, for some of us, that may mean that we are, striking back when they say something that's offensive or insulting. But for others of us, and I feel like for the majority of us, what's going on is as that starts to happen, we are just stepping away from the conversation or from the situation. But doing a little defense as far as communication goes is the theme for this week, Scorpio. Next, what we have coming up talks to me about work, So we're going to look at work that has to do with making money first, then we'll look at work that has to do with improving your inner character next, okay? So work that has to do with making money. I feel like there's a lot of emotion tied up in the work that we're doing, Scorpio, and it looks to me like we may be feeling a little bit like we're feeling like we're having a hard time putting everything together and really creating that abundance that we want to create. So it seems to me like there's a little bit of a frustration level there. Now, as far as inner work really goes along with outer work quite a bit. It looks to me like for our inner work, what we're doing is we're working on manifesting those things that we're feeling frustrated about at our outer work. So inner work is really getting tuned in and focusing on how to create those things that we actually want at an energetic level so that they manifest at the physical level. Next thing that I have coming up talks to me about where we're being grown or expanded this week. So where we're being grown or expanded is something, it's something that we are, it's an energy that we're operating in for a noticeable amount of the week because it is a main theme. And what we have coming up tells me that we are going to be having a new perspective about the help that we've been giving other people. And we're going to be realizing that sometimes the help that we're giving somebody isn't actually helping them at all. Or or the help is just being basically abused, or that we're basically being taken advantage of. And so what happens with us this week is we decide, you know what, thank you very much. I'm done with that generosity. I'm cutting that out. So whatever that generosity is that you feel like it's just being squandered or wasted or not bringing you the results that you're wanting it to bring for you or for the other person, we're cutting that off. We're not doing that anymore. We're done with that. Okay. And there may be more than one situation where we cut off some generosity during the week since it's showing up as a theme here. Or it could be one really big situation. The next thing I'm looking at, fellow Scorpios, talks to me about those things that we stand for. Is this us or is this someone we know? Ooh, kind of surprised. Okay, so there's somebody in our lives who has decided to really just shut down communication with somebody else, just completely shutting it down. And so with this person in our lives, it looks like somebody has come to us and has complained about this. Why is this person being so quiet? Why aren't they talking to me? Why aren't they talking to so-and-so? Whatever it is. And we're actually defending this person. We're saying, well, have you thought about the things that happened in this situation? Wouldn't you kind of do the same thing? So we're defending that person that is cutting someone else out of their life, not talking to them anymore. All right, the next thing that I'm looking at is how other people perceive us. Other people on the outside looking in on this week are seeing us as having no plan, no long-term goals, no plan. That's what they see. Now, this is my card that is like the most likely to be completely whack. It's not always completely whack, but sometimes it's really out there because people on the outside looking in don't have the full story. They don't know the real deal. So they may or may not be right. So that card, I always take it with a grain of salt because it may or may not be right. It's what other people are thinking. It's not what we're thinking or how we're behaving. Okay? All right. So anyway, other people think that we have no long-term goals or dreams or aspirations. Next thing that I'm looking at is that pivotal energy that starts to turn things around for the week. And that pivotal energy really has a lot to do with us finding our balance. We are finding our balance. I already know for me, this has to do with a balance between personal time and work time and me time. A balance between when I'm going to clean the house and when I'm going to work and when I'm going to relax. I'm not sure how this is going to play out for the rest of you. It may be something very similar. Excuse me. For some of you, this may have to do with balancing the finances. But the pivotal energy is that you are finding this balance that you're looking for. And then as you're finding this balance, there are some things going on. The first thing that I'm seeing here is that as you're finding this balance, you're advising other people in your sphere of influence. And this isn't the normal type of advice that I would generally pull off of this card. To me, what it feels like is as we're finding balance, I think we are communicating with people who are impacted by where we're spending our time about what we're doing. We're passing along ideas to try to help them understand why we're not spending as much time with them, or why we're spending more time doing something else, whatever that is. We're passing along ideas to them to help them understand what we're going through, what we're doing as we're finding balance, that there's no ill intentions towards them, that we're not avoiding them, that nothing like that is happening, but that our focus has shifted. And so I see us communicating that. And then also, as we find our balance, I think for a lot of us, this may have to do with financially, because I do see us stashing some money away, putting money back. So part of this finding a balance, at least, is about finances, or at least it touches on finances. Okay. And then the last theme for the week just talks about, before we move on into the next week, we do have some major shakeups coming in. And these shakeups, I really think, are tied into that balance. I think that if we're not really great about communicating what's going on, some other people may feel very left out, or left behind, or not prioritized, or not important. And so if we are not very clear about what's going on and why, we can have some major shakeups with these other people having some backlash as to how we are now treating them, or how much we're not there for them when we used to always be there for them. So some kind of major shakeup coming out of that. And it doesn't feel to me like this is anything that can't be fixed, but it does feel like this puts things on the table so that we can talk about them with the people that are around us. Maybe we've been trying to communicate with them, and they just haven't really believed anything that we've said about how we're going to be getting our balance. Or maybe they just didn't think we would actually do it when it came time for the rubber to hit the road. So it may be a surprise to them. It may take them a little bit hard. They may take it a little bit hard, is what I mean to say. And so we're going to have to maintain our balance and still at the same time sort of hold somebody's hand and let them know, hey, don't be insecure. Everything's just fine. I'm just focusing on this right now. Okay. All right. So that's what I've got for Scorpio for this week coming up. I hope you all find this helpful, and that I want to thank you all for being here, for hanging out, for liking, for sharing, for subscribing. Also, thank you for those of you who are doing the super chat. I'm not sure what's going on so far. I've only seen one of those, but I see in my analytics that I've gotten way more than one. So if I don't thank you personally, please understand that it's not that I didn't mean to thank you personally. It's just that I didn't actually see that you had donated through the super chat. So anyway, thank you to those of you who have, and thank you for keeping me on my toes and keeping me fresh here. Everybody have a fantastic week, and I'll see you back the next time. Peace out.